Hi everyone, welcome. This is the third game of the Group D stage for the Chinese All-Stars tournament. On the previous games, we have seen the use of knights, assassins, mages, and a variety of other combinations as well. The knights were actually quite favored by most players, followed by assassins, followed by hunters. Let's see if that's the case in this game, or if we see a mage, goblins, or elves pop up as well. We do have a player of focus, which is the current world number 3 player, being, where is he? Chess fan over here. You can see that players have not used the queen accounts for this game because the tournament organizers allows them to not use queen accounts. And for most players who are top 100 or top 200 in the world, do really want to preserve their queen accounts to use for the higher competitive ranking games instead of to use in the tournament here. And because they know other players are not going to use the queen account, using the queen account here means they'll lose a lot of ranking even coming first. So most players have not used their main accounts here. I'll be attaching a link below for the world top 3 current player for his portfolio for you guys to have a look. There seems to be a little adjustment for the observation over here. At the very start of the game, what we're looking for is items and units. We're looking for who funds the 2-star units. We're also looking at who will be able to adjust with the great item drop. What I'll do is let me have a double look at the overlay if everything's okay. So everything's okay. In the first 3 rounds, what I usually hope for is to have at least 2 to 4 item drops, and the ideal items will be a stout shield, followed by the Blightstone, followed by Voidstone, Ring of Health. So those 4 are usually the top rows, followed by the coming back over here. This is round 4. Usually at the start of round 4, you can see some generic builds being forged. We can see a few players already starting looking to knights. You can see pairs of anti-mage here, because anti-mage is valued quite highly by most players in the early rounds. He's got offensive and defensive capability. You can see 2 anti-mage here as well. And someone's going for assassins by the looks of it. Morphling and Queen of Pain. We can see the use of elementals. Elemental is great in early game, and Tiny is a very strong unit. If a Tiny tosses the axe or tosses the Mars over there, that's a mini stun actually, which is quite strong. Tiny is considered a 1-cost Tide Hunter for this particular reason. What we want to see is who will be able to maintain the win streak after round 10, and what sort of unit choices and composition is going to start to rise after round 17. Usually the player that maintains a win streak will be likely to leveling off curve. The on-curve leveling will be level 9, level 13, level 17, and level 21. People don't usually level at the neutral rounds after that, because round 20 and round 25 they can save up some interest by not spending gold on the neutral rounds. We can see the good old goblins running around. So let me introduce the players here. We have AMS on the top, we have Knife King as the 2nd player, we have Mr. Bear as the 3rd player, Chess Fan is the 4th player, Lilith is 5th, Mr. Small is the 6th player, FTW is the 7th, and lastly is Mr. Duckies on the last play on the last leaderboard. We can see FTW going for God's Mage, or Gods at the very start. Having a 2-star Mars at the very start is actually incredibly strong, because a 2-star Mars will actually deny enemies chance of getting mana. How does unit gain mana? Is from 2 methods. One is to receive damage, one is to deal damage. To receive damage, we all know how that works. If you have enough health, you can receive enough damage to cast. To deal damage, you actually have to deal 50 damage per attack onto the enemy. So that's not if you attack for 50, but rather you have dealt 50 damage to receive the max mana. A normal unit can receive 10 mana per attack max, and a unit that is a mage, shaman, or warlock can receive 20 mana max. Because of that, if units are normal attacking Mars, with his passive to reduce physical frontal damage, units will not deal 50 damage to him, and units will not regenerate mana fast enough against Mars. That's why Mars is such a strong unit in the early game. If he's 2-star, his passive becomes even stronger and less mana for the units, also less damage dealt. Also Mars deal a ton of damage if he can slam every 5 seconds. We can see a clear favor for the knights and assassins and goblins in the early game. For the assassins and knights, that will be a transition. For the goblins, they are the dominating units for the early game. People do favor the goblins simply because of the nanobot. We can see this particular unit in the middle of the Luna with the nanobot actually survived a few rallies of attacks against other units. Right now, there's two players that's having a win streak, Mr. Bear and the Knife King. This is Mr. Small over here with, is that a 2-star? Oh, that's a 1-star Chaos Knight. But if we remembered earlier, he did keep 2 anti-mage, which became 4 anti-mage right now. At the very start of the game, round 4 to round 15, most players do favor 2-star units. And the way they favor 2-star units, it's not that if you find a random 2-star, but rather they keep pairs that are valuable to them. What are valuable pairs? Clockwork, Anti-Mage, Chaos Knight, and other pairs can be Shadow Fiend, Razor, Terrorblade. Those are the 3 cost pairs, and Lycan as well. If you guys are interested in what good pairs to keep in early and mid game, and even in the late game, definitely check out my tier list. I have broken down into the composition for different terms at different unit cost. I'll be comparing 1 cost and 2 cost, 3 cost and 4 cost, and also at the stages of the game. I'll attach that in the link below for you guys. Lilith is going for a warrior beast by the looks of it. Those tend to be pretty strong, except she is facing assassins with elementals. Warriors are mostly melee units, elementals do punish heavily on the melee units. Each time they attack elementals, there's a chance of being stunned. And after attacking and being stunned, that's really costly because that's a 4-second stun, and that stun is a stone that amplifies the physical damage taken of the stone unit as well. We do see a big pickup by FTW over here. He found 2 2-star units. Remember, in the early game, any 2-star units will shine, and each time you find those units, it will allow you to win your rounds, get the bonus gold for winning, and lastly, start a win streak. You'll also be punishing other players for the greedy lineup and punish them for being weak. Each HP loss is going to be crucial for most players. And looking over here, our leader Knife King have the 4 knights by the looks of it, and he has also got the Chores synergy with the Jaw Ranger. He is incredibly strong right now because of the knights and because he found a 2-star Chaos Knight. One Dota said Mars is good at denying other team for not getting mana but not doing anything at all. Indeed, my friend. And T-Dubs said, literally mid shield. Yes, Mars is incredibly nice for a few underwhelming reasons, because although he doesn't attack, we do give most of the tanky items to him, and because of that reasons, in the late game even, I see mages hitting Mars. Yes, they do silence him, but they don't get much mana from hitting him, because they can't deal 50 damage. They will hardly to deal 10 damage at all if Mars is really tanky with a Vanguard. We have seen a few players going for knights. This game I'm actually looking at 2 assassins and 3 knights right now, and I think the strongest will be the knight player over here, and the strongest assassin is the elemental assassin over here. Let's see how this elemental assassin fare. Tiny is going to toss. He did not toss. The Dragon did transform. Keep in mind, this particular assassin player have a 2-star Queen of Pain, but that is all I think. And even with that, assassin did win for 2 particular reasons. One is the stoning of elementals, one is the burst potential of the assassins in the backline. This is our assassin player, Mr. Ducky over here. He found that 2-star Phantom Assassin at round 10. Now, that is very incredible. And on top of that, he is going to be very strong for the next few rounds. We can see this is Mr. Bear over here. He is currently on the 3rd position. He has leveled to level 6. Let's have a look at the level of players at round 10. We have only 2 players that actually we only have 1 player that is not level 6, which is Mr. Duckies over here. Everybody else did level to level 6. I'm actually curious to see if the win streak leader do level further to level 7 before round 13. Usually the win streak leaders do level to round 7 at round 13, but sometimes they level higher. Lilith went for Hunters. I like the choice because usually you want to take a build that no one else is taking, which is also quite strong in the mid and late game, and Hunter is definitely one of them. What I like to do, you can see Mr. Small here. I was just going to say I like to pass on the items as I find them to have a slight chance of winning, but unfortunately, Anti-Mage does not do well with units without mana. Oh, this is Mr. Small, and Mr. Small is adjusting. He went into assassins as well. So by the looks of it, there's at least 2 or 3 assassins. He also have the elf activated by top rolling the Templar assassin. This is chess fan, by the way. This is our world number 3 player. He is currently running elementals with a 2-star icon. So he has beast, warrior, elementals. Ideally he should be winning, but by the looks of it, he probably started a losing streak earlier. He did find a very strong knight player, so he might even lose on this round. It all depends on where the tiny toss and how much damage he can deal before the knights really push him back. Unfortunately, that's a really nice ball for the knights, and he actually lost quite massively over here as well. The great thing is he probably still have the losing streak. The downside is he's already really low on health. Let's see how the world number 3 player come back at this particular position. He does not have the best economy. He does not have the best health. Let's see if he can change the game around for him, because that's a terrible start for him. Wildcard said, just had a 3-star Lone Druid with Refresher. I see, my friend. For those that didn't know, Refresher Lone Druid actually summon multiple bears, and if you actually have the Gods with Lone Druid, he will be summoning a bear every 15 seconds. So which means if you have Refresher and the Gods, he will be summoning 3 pairs in 15 seconds time. This is the FTW. Remember, he went to Gods. He currently have the 6 warriors. He is using Mars as a tank, but not as a God's synergy activator, so the Gods does not work for him. He is facing a player that's about to go into Dragons. We can see the 2-star Park already and the Dragon Knight. That player just needs the Viper, and he will be incredibly strong before round 15 by having the 2-star Park. After round 15, a 2-star Viper will do, and after round 20, a 2-star Dragon Knight is incredibly strong. We do notice that FTW did lose his win streak. Right now, the only player that haven't lost the win streak is Knife King, who is currently running Knights. Hey guys, unfortunately there's a little problem with the replay during the parts when Knife King just lost his win streak. We'll be starting around 14 from here. Currently we're looking at a little ducky with a top row of Lone Druid. Keep in mind, if an assassin player top rows a Lone Druid, that means he or she will be going to the assassins with the elf and druid. That's a 3-star train protector and a 3-star Lone Druid with the 6 assassins, which is a common strategy for a lot of assassins, which is still very strong in the current meta. We see AMS going for knights as well, but knowing that the win streak leader Knife King right now have the knights, AMS is kind of in trouble because it's likely Knife King will roll away her knights before she does, but she's going for dragons and knights. So let's see if she can make enough Dragon Knights work, and if he can find her 2-star Dragon Knight. Mr. Bear is running a bit of the Goblin lineup for value. Let's have a look at the leaderboard over here. Knife King is on the 1st, followed by FTW, Lilith. Mr. Bear is on the 4th position with his Goblins, but it's likely he'll be falling off with the Goblins. This is Knife King, by the way, who is planning to go into Trolls. He also kept the Viper, might be for deny, might be for transition into the Dragons and Knights. We see how heavily people favor Anti-Mage, and even at this stage of the game, we can see 5 Anti-Mage being collected by Mr. Small. This is another assassin player. Right now we're seeing 2 at least assassin player. One was the one that top rode Lone Druid. This is the player that top rode the Templar. Now this should be a 1-star Templar. I'll be surprised if it's a 2-star Templar, but that is also a 2-star Phantom and a 2-star Queen of Pain over there. Notice each time a player finds an item, sometimes they consider using the item now, sometimes they consider the combination. What I suggest for all of us is to consider to have the foresight to think about how and what combination we can find on this unit, and if I'm willing to sell this unit. If I'm not willing to sell, usually I will be reluctant to give him really good items if I need that item on my key units like Tide and Deuce in the late game. We can see that Knife King over here, our win streak leader, is locking his 2 Void Stone. He is not using those 2 items. Just as I was saying, if he's unwilling to sell the Witch Doctor or the Bat Rider, he won't be giving them those items. He might want them on the other units. That's going to be a critical initiator or the controller in the late game. That's a big boat, by the way. He might lose here because of that boat, but the Knights are super tanky. He hasn't procced any of his Knight's armor, but it was enough by killing the front line of the Hunters. If we remember earlier, guys, Chess Fan was down in the bottom position. There's a few things he did over there which he leveled earlier than anybody else, followed by he spent a few of the gold. Now if we also remember, he's running elementals, warriors and beast. Let's see if he continues with those combination or if he curves into something else. Having 3 warriors, elementals and beast is so versatile. You can go into elemental mages, you can go into 6 warriors or 4 beast. We're seeing the production at work, seeing how Mr. Small picks his lineup with the assassin build. He's swapping them around, he's swapping them around again, and he sold one. He actually preferred the Luna here for the 6 elves, I think. Does he have 6 elves? He's only got 5 elves actually. The Queen Opening actually took a spot for the elves. We do see that he's facing a mage. I'm interested to see which player is he facing and who just defeated him. By the looks of it, it can be our top 3 player Chess Fan being a mage, because I can see the Lycan and elementals. If I remember correctly, Chess Fan did have a 2-star Lycan, and I don't think not many people have the Lycan other than Chess Fan. Task with triple armor task, but not enough. Yes, the player he defeated was Chess Fan, and this is Chess Fan that curved into elemental mages. It's nice he curved into elemental mages for a few reasons. One is that he was on such a losing position. Mage is one of the best comeback unit for him. The second thing is so many people are going for knights, assassins and hunters that the mage is left open. If your pool is left open and it's a major pool of unit for the mid game, for the mages, elemental mages counter some units. For assassins and knights, also elemental mages require less to become mature. So which is very nice. I'm glad he picked that particular part that no one's picking. This should give him a good chance of coming back. The player focus will always be the top 3 or top 2 player, because they are the ones with the highest HP and the highest economy. They are likely to be the top 2 player in the game if they can sustain themselves or maintain the lead. We also like to focus players who initially start on the bottom but climb back with a good comeback strategy. This is why we're following Chess Fan here as well. Not only he's the world number 3, but also how does he change his formation and unit choice. We can see FTW losing to a 3-star Trim Protector and an Elemental Assassin. That should be our player. Yeah, this is Mr. Ducky with the Elemental Assassin with the top decking of Laundred earlier. If you remember what I said earlier, is that having the Laundred means that he can find his way to the Trim Protector super nice. Only needing 4 druids to make a 3-star druid is incredibly strong in the early game. We can see Lilith with the hunters, and she is finding a 2-star Medusa. That is a very core unit, and having this particular lineup, she just wants to I'm actually a little surprised why is she having the sniper instead of the Jaw Ranger, because she can have the minus armor with the Jaw instead of the sniper, which doesn't provide anything but the hunter buff. The difference between damage is a little bit between the sniper 1-star and the Jaw, but it's not that big, I think. But I think it's a personal preference for the range maybe. She is very strong with a 2-star Conquer and a 2-star Medusa. Let's see how players are going to level after round 20. Right now everyone's level 7. No one have spiked up for this particular game, and most of the players actually saved up quite a bit. We can see the player in the middle of the pack having the highest saving. The player on the bottom and on the top of the pack actually spent further to protect win streak or to get out of the losing streak. Again, we see a multiple knight player, and if we remember correctly, AMS right now is going for dragons and knights, and Knife King, the second player, is going for trolls and knights. Usually when a collusion of unit composition really happens, one of the player actually waits a bit before he starts rolling. He wants to wait for the other player to die to free up the pool before he starts rolling. This is our 6 warriors, by the way, with Mars. I'm really curious to see if FTW can make the Mars warriors work, because Mars here is just a tank. Knowing that warriors are really tanky, adding another tank to the warrior might be good, might not be that good. We can see FTW did bring Slaughter and Dusa on his bench to defend against the mages. It's likely, oh, here you go with the production. This is round 21. The production did this to show you if people are rolling, what people are rolling. There's a top row of the gyro, you can see over there, instantly bought by FTW. There's a Necromancer, and there's a Techies and a Zeus. Are they going to buy those? Techie was not purchased. Zeus was purchased. Zeus is not purchased. Zeus is purchased. So at level, so we can see at least 3 players went to level 8 at round 21. Because they went to round 21, they leveled to have a chance of finding legendaries. They found 3 legendaries, and one was the Zeus, one was Techies, and one was Jara. You can see the Jara at work over here. This is the warrior player, 6 warrior player, FTW, who bought the Jara. Jara Copter actually does quite a bit of decent damage with his cooldown. If he survives long enough, he can do 2 cooldowns pretty quickly, because he only have 10 seconds CD. He did survive. I think that Gyrocopter was one of the reasons I actually won this fight, maybe. Now, we can see the assassin player right now. The assassin player being Mr. Ducky, finding the second 2-star Templar assassin, also the second Queen of Pain. It's likely he will be looking at a 3-star Templar and 3-star Queen of Pain. That'll be incredibly strong and also very scary for most other players. We can see a Gyro here. Chess fan found another Gyro. Let's look at chess fan's formation right now. I'm going to pause for a moment. Looking at chess fan's formation, the Tiny is in the front to allow stoning and defensive capacities. The Lycan's on the side, so he actually doesn't die right away. He has a chance of summoning with the Crystal Maiden aura. Only a 1-star Crystal Maiden though. Lycan, Crystal Maiden, and the Keeper of the Light are actually 3 humans. He's got 1 more human over here. Lastly, he's got a Medusa position over here. When enemies comes over to him, the Medusa have the best chance of casting and hitting everyone with a spell. I know it's pretty trivial sometimes to look at a mage defensive positioning, but usually if we adjust our units a little bit, we can get more value out of our units as well. Let's see how he fares with assassins. Units are actually well positioned against assassins because they actually didn't jump out of their formation. This allows him to control the enemy and to get his spells before assassins can cleave or burst him down. This allows him to defeat one of the players, which is Mr. Small. He defeated the 4th player over here, Mr. Small. Right now, Chess Fan, still climbing back, is right now on the 3rd last position, on the 6th position. What we're looking at is, yes, I was going to say, is players getting desperate with low health. What that means is the lower players are actually not the weakest ones, but they're the desperate ones. There's a 50% chance of them facing a stronger lineup that defeats him, but other times they'll find a lineup that's not that strong, and they will be able to defeat other players. We can see this is Mr. Bear over here. He's going for Goblin Mages. The scary thing about Goblin Mages is if you never find your techies, you won't be able to hold down after round 21. And this is one of the cases, I think. This is only a 1-star Dragon Knight. Let's see if he can hold on. What we're looking at is the Bounty Hunter distracting the Dragon Knight, while the rest of the lineup actually pushed forward. The Dragon lineup did not have the 2-star Dragon Knight, and because of that, he actually held on. Very nice. Lilith did lose to the Mage, and losing to Chess Fan over there means Lilith actually are quite punished as well for being on the 6th position. Chess Fan climb up 1 step by going to the 5th position over here. There hasn't been any clear win streak leaders. Each player do have a counter matchup versus each other. What we want to see is after round 25 and round 26, will the players be leveling to level 9 and how much would they spend? Usually at round 26, this is a big showdown. This is when the clutch 3 stars are going to change everything, or the clutch 2 stars Dragon Knights over here will change a lot. This is our friend Knife King. Knife King has fallen from his initial top position as the Knights to the 4th position. Because he was going for Troll Knights, he transformed into Dragon Knights. And the downside with Dragon Knights is if you do not find your 2-star Dragon Knight, you're going to have a bad time after round 20. Dragon Knight is one of those units no one wants, but if you just can't find them for yourself, it's going to be very difficult. We can see a 3-star anti-mage right here. Yes, I'm sure most of you have noticed that. That was Mr. Small. Mr. Small is currently our 2nd position leader. The 1st position leader is FTW. If you guys remember correctly, FTW is the player that had the gyrocopter, and FTW should be the player with the... Yes, FTW. This is Lilith, by the way. FTW was the player with 6 warriors, I believe. The reason Knife King is having difficulties of finding his dragons and his knights is because AMS also runs the exact same lineup and also is taking a lot of the units from him. You can see that AMS is unable to fit a 2-star Necromancer because of this particular choice, because she actually needs to be level 9 to do so. She might be saving up to level up. Let's see what her gold is. MS is currently sitting on 0 gold. This is not the best position, because she wants a Dragon Knight, she also wants to level up, but you can't have both. And because of that, I think AMS is in big trouble. We know that our Goblin Mage did just lose before round 25. This is the strength and weakness of Goblins. They are quite great in the early game. I think Mr. Bear was top 4 in the early game, and then he forced down rapidly after round 17. And after round 22, without techies, it's actually incredibly hard because of the pace of the game. Let's look at the player spending over here. Round 26, massive spending on Chess Fan. He's actually leveling up. Who else is spending? Let's have a look. Most of the players sitting on 10, 26. Oh, Mr. Small is also spending a bit. Excuse me, guys. So let's have a look. I'm surprised that Lilith is not spending that much. She's sitting on 42 gold. Mr. Ducky is sitting on 24 gold. Knife King is sitting on 42. Knife King still have the spare HP, but most of them are pretty low HP. AMS is actually in trouble here, because the burst potential of assassins, if the assassins do pull him forward like this, his front line or his back line will be burst down. And because of that, oh, that Luna doing work. Look at those bounces. Not only did she remove the refraction charger with Templar, oh my gosh, but that Templar though, that crit her down. So I was gonna say, because AMS actually did not have the last unit down with the Necrophos, she cannot enjoy the full strength of the competition. This is the FTW here, guys. He sold the mask. FTW was the 6 warrior with mask. He did change into the Naga warrior as well. We noticed that the reason he sold the mask and he kept the liking was for the beast synergy as well. He is also 1 or 2 units away from the 3-star Lone Druid. He's quite close to the 3-star task, and he is currently a win streak leader. He is currently the leader on the leaderboard because the strength of warriors around those stages. It's likely he might be falling a bit simply because other lineups will be maturing soon. Once I'm maturing, I mean the dragons will find the 2-star Dragon Knight. The assassins will find some of the 3-star assassins, knowing how many Mr. Ducky found in the early game. And lastly, the mage from Chess Fan will be really strong very soon as well. But that 3-star anti-mage is going places. Really going places. Usually anti-mage is a great unit at 2-star, but at 3-star he is incredibly strong. Simply because with a bit of evasion, anti-mage is almost immortal to physical and magical damage because he has a base magic resistance. It's as if he's got a free hood with 30% magic resistance at level 3. We're seeing Chess Fan here. He hasn't been losing that much. Right now he is actually on the road of comeback. I think he moved his particular lineup because he doesn't want to be on the direct end, or maybe he wants to be on the direct front to the enemy players. Usually with mages you want to be facing the players, so you want to be here, you want to face the player over there. You don't want to be caught on the diagonal side because most of his spells won't hit properly like that. Ooh, we can see the assassins versus assassins. We can see the 3-star Queen of Pink. Mr. Ducky is also 2 Phantom Assassins from a 3-star Phantom as well. Very interesting. Usually the assassins is just a pure luck, and sometimes it's about unit positioning, because whoever jumps in, whoever stays will have a big change of factor. This is becoming a very close game. Who just lost? Mr. Small lost to Mr. Duckies, while FTW lost to Knife King with 7. FTW lost big time. And if you remember correctly, Knife King is the Dragon Knights player. He has 6 knights, or 4 knights with undead. He also have the dragons. It's likely FTW found his 2-star Dragon Knight after AMS died. AMS was the exact player that denied all his knights. This is why I say that the player that was being handicapped because of the collusion of build will actually kick up his build the moment his nemesis player actually get taken out in the game. So it's likely we're going to see Knife King and our friend Chess Fan to go further, because no one's taking the mages and no one's taking the knights. That tide though is so scary for him. Medusa, she stoned the tide before he could cast anything. That was a big difference maker. And what Chess Fan is facing right now is FTW with the summons and with the 6 warriors. Unfortunately for the offensive lineup, the duel was so crucial for him, and FTW lost again. If you guys remember earlier, FTW has been a leader for a while. I did mention that warriors will be falling off because after round 26, warriors being the mini units will actually have a hard time facing other lineups when they actually ball into defensive position. Warriors will become stronger when they have 3-star warriors, 2-star Medusa, or maybe a few cushion units that deals enough AoE damage, say Enigma. Because they have trouble getting close to the enemy, they actually block each other because they are melee units. This is Knife King. The reason I mentioned he will be stronger earlier is that he found his 2-star Dragon Knight, also a 3-star Bat Rider. He's also on his way to find a 3-star Chaos Knight as well. What I'm expecting to see is after round 30, at round 31, a lot of players will be spending all of their savings. By savings, I mean the 10 gold remaining or few gold remaining on the players. We can see 1 level 9, 2, 3, 4 players level 9. Only 2 players are not level 9 yet, because players really do want to compete for the top 4, top 3 position. Chess Fan lost the lizards. Not surprised because mages do have the weakness against the lizards. Chess Fan is sitting on the 5th position with 11%. It's going to be sudden death for the bottom 3 player. The top 3 player have at least 1 or 2 chance of losing. FTW though is a little sad because he has been rolling for multiple units. He hasn't found his enchantress for leveling. He hasn't found the Lycan. He hasn't found the task. So he hasn't found one of the crucial units he needed. So everything's a pair. This is where you don't want to be in this stage of the game. Most of the lineup for him is melee. You can see how the Dragon Knight is splashing out all of his units. And I think this will be it for him, because the strength of the Knights is at their peak, while FTW has fallen down from his peak. He's gonna lose massively here. He actually camped 6th position for being a win streak leader for so long in the mid game. Wow, Chess Fan also won with very close to the line. And because of that, Chess Fan actually managed to come back to the 5th, at least top 5. Lilith might be the next one to go. Right now it's Mr. Duckies on the 3rd position, Chess Fan on the 4th, and Lilith on the 5th. On the 2nd is Mr. Small. Mr. Small, who was the assassin player, did find a 3-star Phantom, 3-star Anti-Mage, and a 3-star Enchantress. In comparison, Mr. Ducky is also an assassin player with a few nice 3-stars with the Train Protector and Queen of Pain. It's likely if one of the assassins player die now, the other assassin player will take the majority of the pool and become even stronger. This is the thing. The randomness not only affects you, also affects your opponent. If they die fast enough, they actually benefit you. But the downside is, if you don't run assassins and assassin player dies, it actually will benefit other player. Now we did just see that. Let's have a look. We did just see one of the assassin player, gosh, Chess Fan actually survived with 2%. We did just see one of the assassin player that was Mr. Duckies with the top row of Lone Druid earlier did die. Now, Mr. Small do have the free up units for assassins, so Mr. Small will be even stronger. Chess Fan here is struggling to make his way to top 3. I think it will be hard for him to be top 2, but top 3 is likely depending on the matchup he receives on this round. This is going to be the sudden death for Lilith and Chess Fan, and the players that will be battling out for the top 2 position will be Knife King versus Mr. Small. We'll have a Knight versus Assassin game. Usually people say Assassins do get countered by Knights. Lilith is the Hunter player. The Hunter player is actually facing the Assassin player with a massive line of good Assassins. This Phantom though, looking over here, she really wants to get to the Sniper but she could not. But meanwhile, the front line for the Hunters did die. So Lilith is running to the corner. Lilith died over here. So, and also Chess Fan survived the round. So Chess Fan came top 3 by starting not in the best position at the early game. This is earlier what I mentioned about finding a mage which no one was picking and finding a build that no one was planning to go into will give you the best opportunity to come back. If you go into a build that 3 or 2 players are already winning or using and you want to come back with those, you're going to have a terrible time when you try to come back. Chess Fan did favor for more controls than the Tiny. For the 1-star Conquer, there won't be much difference. I don't think Chess Fan can survive against the Assassins because there's so many Assassins. He'll definitely not have a good chance against the Knights because that's one of the best counters for mages. Once the Knights proc the super armor, the Dragon Knight over here did not take any damage after receiving all the damage in the world. And because of that, Chess Fan is actually going to be our top 3 player for this particular round of games. He died, and what we want to see is what item did he drop and what happened to the matchup followed. We can see the Elf Assassin actually defeated a Knight player. What I want to see if the Knight player is going to adjust his positioning. Is he going to level up or what is his plan? If you guys did notice there, the Knife King has quite high of XP. He's very close to level 10. He did plan to level up, so instead of rolling for his 3-star Chaos Knight, he went for the safer but less beneficial route of leveling up. It's going to be a level 10 Knight versus level 9 Assassin. Level 9 Assassin is at optimal level. Assassins don't need to be level 10 because they already do plenty at level 9. Usually Assassins stay at level 8 for the longest time as well. So our friend TechS23 said, Warrior can't win Mage Assassin even 3 elf. Yes, Warrior do have a bad time against those lineup in the mid game. They got nerfed from 7 armor to 5 armor. That was quite a bit of physical damage reduction, that's right. And also the 6 Assassin is quite strong. We can see it over here. This is our 6 Assassin player versus the 9 player. 9 player did go to 10, while Knight player is also rolling out 10 with superior luck of RNG. He found the Chaos Knight. Notice the positioning of the Chaos Knight and Necro. Necro is actually the one and the Gyro wants to be protected. The Chaos Knight is here so he can tank the Assassins. Let's see if this better positioning will help him out. I'm unsure about the bad rider positioning, but he can bait 2 units away into the corner. This Abaddon is also here to just tank the frontal of the anti-mage. The downside for the Dragon Knight is he's puffing on 1 unit. That means his splash damage is not going to work. He's puffing on more units now, but maybe it's too late for him. Surprising enough, or not surprising enough, the 3-star Chaos Knight is doing great work for our friend Knife King over here. In comparison, Mr. Small did just lose to the Knights. So knowing that, I think it's going to be important for Mr. Small to adjust his assassin positioning, try to pull the Knights out. Let's see if he can make that work. And knowing that he just won over here, Knife King is happy to stay in his particular formation unless it's a change of formation for the assassin player. We can see the assassin player is adjusting. Both are on really low health but really high economy. What are they going to do? Are they going to roll or are they going to level up? Mr. Small is rolling. Instead of leveling, he's rolling because he's too far from level 10. We have the great production of double-sided for both players. We can see Mr. Small is still rolling deep, and also Knife King is rolling deep as well. Knife King again has the Chaos Knight, but this time the Chaos Knight actually went further. He actually did not protect the back line, but he went to the front line. The Dragon Knight is also puffing on the right units though, because he was not distracted by the assassin in front of him. Because of that, Knife King did win, and on the other side, I think our elf player also won on his defensive rounds. So again, this is going to be a very close game. Maybe the elves, maybe the trolls will help decide by dropping items or by killing players with their superior power, because none of the players actually have the Enigma for them. Old Boy said, is he keeping level 1 weapon on the bench so he can roll more 3 cost? Yes, because there's a chance of him to roll for 3 cost. Also, he can be keeping the Viper to upgrade for his Viper. We do notice that there's a Zeus and a Goblin Techies. He's not taking any of them. There's also a Lich and there's also a DP. He did keep the Gyro. The Gyro is 2-star. Gyro is actually an overwhelming good unit for most lineup because his ability to burst things down with 1-star and 2-star is incredibly nice. Gyro have the best attack speed and 15 armor to start with 1-star. That Templar though, look at she go at the Chaos Knight, but it was not enough. So the knight player defended on his round, and right now we're watching the assassin player fighting the knight player. Now knight player is supposed to be the counter for assassin player, and we can see why. Because each time the super armor procs, the assassin player can't do much to the knights. This is going to be very close, but it's likely the assassin player is going to have trouble. Simply being level 9 with level 10, and also not having enough pulling potential to pull the knights to him. He hasn't pulled back his assassins, that means the knight can enjoy the stronger positioning. We can see the positioning of the Chaos Knight being very nicely positioned in the back to counter the jumping timing for the Phantom and the Templar. Again, the Chaos Knight went a little earlier, but it's fine because Gyro is actually a great tank with 15 armor. Viper did die, Gyro died to a crit over there on the defense, and our elf player actually had the superior RNG over here. Maybe it's the Penta's luck as well. But is it going to be enough because the Luna is still doing work? The knight player did win pretty convincingly, the assassin player is struggling. Knowing that he has the lower health, it's likely the assassin player is going to be in trouble for the later stage of the game. He won this fight pretty closely while the knight won convincingly. This is round 40. Assassin player is going to be in big trouble. It's going to be hard for assassins to defeat all the trolls simply because they don't have Enigma, they don't have a great frontline, and if you're trading damage with the trolls, it's not going to be a good time for us. Perish12 said, this guy is clicking every time the reroll button. I see. I did notice that as well, my friend. Initially, I used to click for the reroll because of the high ping, but sometimes players do get used to it, and sometimes the pressure do get to him as well. Our focus will be on the assassin player, because the knight player will not die. Knife King will not die, simply because he has way too much HP at this point. Oh, look at those crits at the backline, guys. The Phantom is really critting up big time, but she's not killing them fast enough, and the front line's already dying. There's 4 trolls left and 4 units left. The knight player already won his side, and the assassin player is still trying. The Phantoms need to do some more work. Can they do it? Double Phantom with double evasion. 2 vs 2 now. I don't think they can do it, but let's hope. The double Phantom, there's only 1 Phantom left, and this is over because 2 trolls will really take down the Phantom. What he could be doing is he could be giving her items, but this is not enough. Unfortunately, they need a lot of more evasion. Yes, this is unfortunate, but over here, the game ended with Mr. Smart dying to the trolls by sitting on 1 HP and dying to the last remaining trolls. This is a little sad for him because he still have a chance of winning against Knife King with top row of items and top row of critical damage. But knowing that he did not win convincingly in the past few rounds, it's likely he will die to Knife King against the 6 Knights, the Dragons, and Undead. Very well played by each of the players. The highlight will be the comeback potential of Chess Fan with the Elemental Mages, and also the strength of Assassins despite having 2 Assassins on the particular game, and the strength of Knights. The Knights and Assassins were in the winning streak, while the Elemental Mages was coming back from behind. There's no particular saying which build is stronger, but ideally in the late game, Knights will counter units that want to burst you down. Units that have Enigma can counter Knights in return if they have enough control. Thank you so much for watching this particular game, guys. There will be one more game to be casted and posted for you guys on YouTube very soon. After that, we'll be looking into the playoffs. It's likely we'll have the green hair player versus Chess Fan if he can make it. Chess Fan right now have the top 2 scores, I believe, and it's likely if he performed well on the last game in the Group D stage, he could be into the playoffs as well. Thank you so much for watching. To support me further, please like and subscribe the YouTube video. To support me on Twitch, please follow, and please use your Twitch Primes here. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys on YouTube next time.